Hey there, welcome to Izzo's Place. Nice to have you here. So I'm in Florida. I'm living in a construction site. You can see empty cabinets and a chop saw. The next step with the job is to completely demo all the cabinets in the background there. Take it to the landfill. But we're just going to take a little break. We're going to have a Thirsty Thursday. So you may have seen the short already. But today we're reviewing the Stone Imperial Whiskey Cask Strength. So Stone is actually a brewery, and I do enjoy their beers. And I should probably at some point start doing beer reviews on here. But they did a what do you call it? Not a collaboration. There we go. They did a collaboration, and I'm not sure who they collaborated with. Maybe it'll say as we read this. Anyway, it's 63.5 alcohol by volume, or 127 proof, depending on how you like to notify yourself about your whiskey. So Stone Imperial Whiskey Cask Strength, aged in 30-gallon charred oak barrels for 30 months. So 2.5 years, I think it's got to be 2 years for it to be bourbon in new oak casks. So it is. Anyway, what do they say here? They say a distinctly dark chocolate note. I shouldn't have read it because now it's going to be in my head. Punches through with undertones of coffee, espresso, cream, and caramel. Oh well. Alright, so Stone Brewery, of course. And then looks like the distillery they're working with is Foundry. Stonebrewing.com. Then we got the governmental warning and all that jazz. Anything here? What's this? What's this say? Made from the grain bill of Stone Imperial Stout. Okay, cool. So whatever the grain bill for their Stone Imperial Stout, which if I was smart, I would have looked at that and tried to get one, so I could review it, and we could make a third video for this one. Well, I'll come back someday and do it. Anyway, created by Stone Brewing and Foundry Distilling. So Foundry. So real quick, let's see what the retail is, because I've got a little bit of a story about why I have this. So, but let's go to OHLQ, which is my go-to for finding out what things are at retail. So if you're ever wondering what retail is, and they don't have everything on their website, but you can usually go to ohlq.com and find out. So what is this? Stone Imperial Whiskey. Oh, this is one where they don't seem to have it. Alright, let's try going to Stone. Let's just do a general search for Stone Imperial Whiskey. Probably would have been better if I had done this, before hitting record. But that's alright, that's what you're here for. You're here for the Izzo nonsense, aren't you? That's the only reason why you'd watch this. Alright, so most places seem to be selling it for about $90. A couple of them are popping up to 100. Keg and Bottles got them at 110. Ooh, Wooden Cork has it for 200. We're not doing that. 178, 118. 85 seems to be the lowest I've seen. 229. That's the highest I think we've seen. 229. So anyway, so I'd seen it on some websites for about 130, 140 bucks. And then there's shipping involved, obviously. So let's go to, let's see. I don't know what this website is, but we're gonna go look at their review and see if they tell. Oh no, they're selling it. It's on sale, $10. They're selling it for 90 bucks too, and that's about what I've been paying for, like 85 to 90. They don't have anything special on that. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's go to actual Stone Breweries. Let's go to Stone Brewery's website, stonebrewing.com, and see what they say about it. But I've been seeing it for about 130, 140, And then one day it went on sale, so I bought one. Like on the website, it was at $90, so pay a little bit of shipping, a little bit of tax. I want to shop beers. I want to know about your whiskey. Search home beer, find your beers, visit us, events, shop online. Who are we? Social media. Well, search. Let's search for whiskey. See if they tell us anything. Okay. And how are they spelling it? They're spelling it with an E. Okay. Whiskey. How do you like to spell whiskey? Some people spell it W-H-I-S-K-Y. Some people spell it W-H-I-S-K-E-Y. How do you spell it? Alright, so what do we got? That's not it. Looks like they got a bunch of different whiskeys. That's pretty interesting. It's very interesting. Let's keep scrolling till maybe we find what we're looking for. That's annoying. How old is this? They've been selling this for a while. You know what? Instead of searching whiskey, dummy, should have searched Imperial whiskey. That makes a little more sense. Stone Imperial Russian Stout. Man, okay, so we're gonna give up because this is, scintillating YouTube content for you guys. So we're gonna give up looking for that. Anyway, so then I wasn't about to pay $130 for it, not taking a chance, even though I do enjoy Stone Brewery's beers. But then it went on sale for $89.95, so I decided to try one, and quickly became one of my favorites. So then, in a moment of weakness, I bought 4, so I've got a bunch of backups, all at that same lower price where it's on sale. So let's get into it now that it's had a little bit of a chance to open up. So my original bottle at home, is probably half gone. This one here at the Southern Project, the Florida Project, I like to call it, in a nod towards Walt Disney. So this one's been drank enough that there should be some good air in there, some good oxidation. This has been sitting here all through. I had a salad for dinner tonight, so this has been sitting here all through dinner. And I started sipping it before hitting record. But I wasn't really tasting it, I was just sipping at it, I guess preparing my palate. So tonight it's very alcohol forward. And I don't have, a lot of times I write my notes on the bottle. This one is a clean bottle down here in Naples. So I don't have my notes with me. So it's very alcohol forward tonight. Now it is, it's heavy there. It's 127 proof. So another 13 proof points. When a whiskey reaches 140, they call it hazmat. I have not yet tried one at hazmat. I think the closest I've got is like 136. So I get more like a deep cherry, like and not like fresh cherries, like a black cherry, like a black cherry jam, but not sweet at all. It's got some sweetness, but like somehow someone made like a dark cherry jam, but they made it tart somehow. And that's kind of what I'm getting in here. So it's not super old, but it's got a nice color. For only being 30 months, it's got a nice color on it. So, they may have charred those barrels quite a bit. Or maybe it's the particular mash bill that's going on. Oh well. So what am I getting? Let's try to get in here. Maybe I'll mute some sounds while we're doing this, because someone is sending me pictures of them and their kids, and I imagine that might not stop for a couple of minutes. I don't think that person is subscribed to my YouTube channel, so They're never gonna see this and know what they were interrupting. How dare they? Just kidding. Yeah, so like deep dark fruits, like a jam, but that they forgot to put the sugar in. That's what it is. It's like a jam they didn't sugar up. Also in there, I'm getting some like the baking spices, almost cloves, not quite cloves. Now I've also heard sometimes you get different scents out of your different nostrils. So I've seen some guys do like the sides of the nose separately. And then there's one guy, I believe, that kind of like rolls it. So getting fruit notes, kind of almost tart fruit notes. It's not devoid of sweetness, but so the more I smell it, so I got that front thing, the cherry, the tartness hitting me. There is like coming up behind, and maybe, who knows, maybe it's the difference of one of my two nostrils. There is coming up behind like a caramel or caramel. Ooh, in the comments, put if you're a caramel or caramel kind of person. Oh, hold on, let me check these. Okay, all right, yep, don't have to respond yet. Probably should, but I won't. So I am starting to get a little bit of caramel, but it's real far in the background. But I'm not getting any of that coffee espresso notes yet that they were talking about. But now that I've said those out loud, let's see if I can get those in my head. Let's see if I can pull those. We haven't even gotten to tasting this yet. But this is why I enjoy whiskey. I like the experience. For me, it's about the experience. Now, obviously, you know, you drink a few and you're gonna feel it. And I don't recommend going too far. Always please drink responsibly, drink with moderation. If you know you're gonna be doing some heavy work or driving, please, you know, avoid it. Do that after the work or the driving. If I really think about it, I get kind of like a Kahlua. So that's like, you know, that's a coffee liqueur. So I got like a little Kahlua kind of fighting with the caramel, but all of it behind that deep cherry. That deep tart cherry. All right, let's go ahead and sip it finally. Man, that's a very good pour. All right, so the cherries kind of come through like a deep dark cherry, not like a maraschino, not like a Luxardo. Luxardos are deep and dark, but they're very sweet to me. No, this is like just a black cherry, but they've made a jam out of it. Now it's less tart on the palate for me. And there's more sweetness. And the sweetness is not like caramel. The smell was caramel. The sweetness is more like a brown sugar. Let's see if the nose has changed. Second nosing. Even though we nosed it for like 4 minutes or something like that. But this is how I enjoy whiskey. I once went on a hike through the woods with a glass of Booker's. And it was the 2022-04 for anyone that knows anything about Booker's. And I did like a 2-mile hike where I only smelled it. I didn't even sip it during that hike. Okay. There's a little more sweetness on the nose now. And I can kind of get what they're saying about the cream. It's just stuff falling off of palm trees. Nothing crazy over here. There's not much of a Kentucky hug. I get it a little bit at the top of the throat, but it immediately smooths out. I get more of the coffee in the palate. I'm definitely getting more of the coffee in the palate. So somehow, like, you know how you get flavored coffee, somehow it's like a coffee, a little bit of cream, and then somehow that deep cherry note embedded in the coffee. It's kind of cool. Let's go back in for a third nosing. Actually, just for fun, let's clear the palate. On that water, I got a note of water, and it smells like water. So, you know, that tasting of the water is complete. So, if you've been watching, you know I'm a dork. If you're watching 16 minutes into this video, that means you're a hardcore loyalist. You know I'm a dork. So, we're gonna have stupid dad jokes like that. Ooh, there's people in the background. If you get too clear a picture of that person in the background, I'll have to edit it out. That person does not want to be on the internet. Actually, let me tell that person that I'm recording. Okay, they've been told. And I just heard them looking for their phone, I think. Or else that's the neighbors. I hear some activity going on. All right, let's get in here. Let's get in here for another one. Is this the fourth? This might technically be the fourth, but I didn't talk about the third. Just for fun, I'm gonna shift a little. Kind of block that doorway, just in case. Yeah. Block all the doorways. Okay. Yeah, just in case, you know. The sweetness is coming through more now. I don't know if you can hear the crickets in the background. That's just an enjoyable pour. And you know, that's what I'm getting out of it today. So coming back in, deep cherry, a little bit of sweetness behind it. And for me, you know, that's deep cherry. For me, that's a little caramel on the nose, a little brown sugar on the palate. You might get something completely different. But I said I'd put a link to this on the one website that I use. Because you got to watch some of the websites you can buy alcohol from. I always try to check retail, because sometimes they'll get you, you know. I always look for sales. I always look for free shipping deals. Usually if one of the websites I use offers free shipping, I'll text a bunch of people, be like, okay, free shipping at blah, blah, blah. If you want something, if you want something, look at it and let me know, and then, you know, buy it as a group, so that way we all save a little bit. So any websites that I tell you about usually won't have shipping more than 20 bucks, and sometimes they'll have deals. Also, the websites that I try to use, like there's one website, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. They had pretty decent prices on the whiskey, but the shipping was outrageous. The shipping at times, sometimes was like $100 for 5 bottles. Like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So I'll put a link to the website where I bought a bunch of this Stone Imperial whiskey from, and you know, use it at your own risk. All the websites that I've used to buy alcohol from, they've packed the whiskeys very well. I haven't had a broken bottle yet. Trying to think if I've had any weird issues. So I had one website where they did the order, but one of the 2 bottles they didn't ship, and they're waiting for it to go into restock. And actually, one of the founders of the website has been emailing me, keeping me updated on where that bottle went. And they even, because I'm waiting for the 1 bottle so long, they even like made a special code for me, so next time I use them I can get 10% off. So if you go there, like, you know, it's something, if I post a link to something, it's something I've used. It doesn't benefit me at all. I'm just letting you know it's something that I trust, and that if you use it, you should be relatively reasonably sure that it's trustworthy, because I'm not going to recommend anything I don't use myself. And obviously I'm not sponsored by anything, you know, just an idiot on YouTube doing his thing. So maybe sometime I'll be a YouTube famous idiot on YouTube doing his thing, but we're far from that. But thank you for watching. We're 22 minutes into this silly review of the Stone Imperial whiskey. Let's think of something silly to put in the comments. If you watched this far, put Barrel Rider in your comment, just to be random. So if I see Barrel Rider, I know that you lasted to 2222 at least. And who knows? Well, we'll only spend a few more minutes hanging out. Let's go ahead and smell this one more time. And actually, we're going to put a little more in. I'm not going to drink all this, though. You know, I've already had a healthy pour of this. So we're going to pour a little more in just to help with the nosing. And then we'll pour whatever I don't drink back into the bottle. I do have to start an infinity bottle down here at some point, though. So, got to think about that. I got some weird experiments going on right now with some other bottles and stuff that I put like oak pieces into. So, but that's already on the channel. You've seen the results of those. They're just a little too. They were a little too aged with the, not even aged. They're not aged. They were a little too flavored with the charred oak pieces I put in. So I kind of didn't like them. So now I've been slowly blending them back into something that's enjoyable. Almost like an infinity bottle, but not quite. But yeah, I just like that super deep tart cherry. A little bit of caramel creeping up in the back. That really hasn't changed. Whew. And sometimes on the nose, especially if I've spun this, on the nose is mostly where I feel that proof point. Like it kind of like, ooh, does things with the nose hairs. 127 proof. But not really getting that coffee that they claim is there. But you might. Everyone's palate's different. And yeah, on the palate, deep red fruit, not as tart as the nose, and brown sugar is the sweetness on the palate. Nothing's really changed. Just a hint of creaminess. Just a hint of creaminess. The coffee will come through sometimes on some of the sips, but It hasn't been consistent. I don't know, but I think it's a very good pour. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the bottle in the description, and so that way if it's something you want to try and you want to spend $90 plus shipping, you can. If for some reason, so since I'm giving you a link to a bottle, if for some reason they don't ship to where you're at, let me know and we'll figure out something out together. We'll figure out a way to get you that bottle if that's something that you'd really like to try. So awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me on Thirsty Thursday. I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna get a little more work done, but nothing crazy with power tools. So just some light demo, take out some shelves and rollouts from the cabinets you see behind me, and load them up in the van for tomorrow. Got to go to the landfill tomorrow, and got to buy some drywall. Tomorrow I start putting together cabinets and installing them, so that's always exciting. I feel like what I do best is the cabinetry, so that's gonna be fun to start getting that stuff in place. All right, thanks for hanging out. As always, if you're working, do it safely. If you're drinking, do it responsibly. But do everything with just a little bit of whimsy, and then things are going to be fun for you. And I'll see you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place.